Yeah, thank you, Cyril. So just to add one point over here, see, for us the guiding principle is the model, and 2020 model has brought in some new aspects also under its purview. So HR analytics in decision making, HR analytics in strategic planning, all that is being what the model is asking for. And the CEO himself has been talking of predictive performance, right? So I mean, how are we then using this data that we are sitting on to do prediction of performance, not just for manpower planning, what Cyril said, even we suggest that we can use this since our CHRO is saying that attrition is a big concern, right? Can we not use it for the attrition prediction, right? So all that has to be looked into. Coming to the other set of OFIs, GPTW,
Harish, can I interrupt? Sorry.
see, actually, we can take the questions later on at the last, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So coming to the next part, which is the GPTW zonal analysis. See, what we found is that it is in very early stage of action planning, where we could not get the zonal analysis data. The zonal leads were unable to fetch the data or give the data related to zonal level analysis of GPTW findings. It seemed that it is being driven by corporate directly, and the segmented data was unavailable. So we understand it's in the early stage of action planning, but I'm sure you will be doing the analysis and then definitely looking at segmented strategy, segmented action planning, whether it is zone wise, delivery center wise, whatever it is, right? Then the holistic HR roadmap for new businesses. I mean, this is what we wanted to see, that how sense of urgency and agility can be developed. See, we could see only in learning and development, the digital COE, the D100 to D500 program, all that which is planned. But when we interact with the senior leadership, we also come to know that it is not merely about upskilling. I may also go for hiring the talent. And if I'm hiring a talent, if I'm going for engineers, data scientists, all that 3-year roadmap that we saw, are we really geared up for that as HR team? The PMS, the career management, your recruitment, all these strategies have to be aligned to this new segment of employees that you're looking for. Okay, so that is what we wanted to see more. If you can, definitely it will be done. The next is with respect to critical position mapping and succession planning. We all know that, of course, since we are now, see, there are 3 triggers primarily. One trigger is that we have moved from TBSS to CBSL. Now we are a complete entity under a global giant like Quest Group, right? The values, I mean, the vision, the agility requirement, the impact or the business results, the moving of the vision from today we are at 1,000 crore almost moving to 7,000 crore. It's a steep rise we are looking for within 2 years, right? And also we are saying now we are moving from merely being a service provider to a solution provider. So again, there is a new thrust of new businesses. Around 30% revenue is going to come from that, right? So what that to ensure expansion to, because there will be a lot of mergers and acquisitions, inorganic growth also which will be going to happen. Now, how do we ensure all this smooth transition, smooth expansion? How do we ensure business continuity? All that will depend upon how well we are ready to have new leaders into our own system. So critical position mapping, succession planning, all this is going to play a big role. Mentoring of next line of leaders. It is happening in the form of LEAP program to some extent, but we really need to see more how we can be ready for the future as such. Okay, as a system, as a structure. Another thing that we observed is most of the measures or results which are there in the organization are focusing on the efficiency. Most of them, some of the effectiveness results are there, but we would suggest that we can have more effectiveness measures into the goal sheets that we saw. We can have more effectiveness measures also. Okay. The third last point talks about innovation. Since we are moving into new business area, okay, and we are having a huge amount of millennials in the organization, there is ample opportunity to do to leverage on the creative mindset that we have in the organization. We have all the digital technology with us. Crowdsourcing of idea is not going to be a tough job for an organization like CBSL. So why do not we start developing this innovation framework where we have complete idea cycle, right from sourcing of ideas, evaluation of ideas, implementation of those ideas, converting them into businesses, and then getting the business link or a customer satisfaction through that. Okay. In fact, the ALPs, the projects that you have, we did not really find any connect over there with respect to the strategic areas or the innovation part of it. If we can convert them into breakthrough projects, which will give breakthrough, I mean, they will be business development or strategic projects, it will be even better. Process benchmarking. Now, here we are talking in terms of HR operations both. What we are saying is that outcome-based model, we are moving from FTE model to outcome-based model, which means not only benchmarking on results, we will also have to benchmark on our processes. What do others do? Today, we are benchmarking definitely with the competitors like Intelinet, Aegis, and all that, but we need to also benchmark with respect to the processes. What processes do they have? What process KPIs that they measure? How are they doing the process, and how we can improve our processes so that the outcome-based model which you are targeting, we will have benchmark for the process itself. Like, for example, C&B, compensation benefits, we tried to get some data on benchmarking, the percentiles, etc. We were not able to get that also. So that is what we feel that we can do some benchmarking over there. Knowledge management is also under the purview of HREM model. Knowledge management, of course, we know it is nothing but creation of the knowledge, your sharing of the knowledge, right? Archival of the knowledge, usage of the knowledge, utilization of the knowledge, and getting the business impact out of it. And since we are saying CBSL is a company which is primarily, the pillar of the organization is the people, and the attrition is also quite high, knowledge will be going with the person. So the more and more focus we put on the knowledge management, the better it is, so that the knowledge remains within the organization. If we can establish a central system, maybe under this operational excellence team that you have centralized, maybe that will be again worthwhile looking into this. So these are the specific focus areas that we had for CBSL at a higher level. And we would like to conclude by this two great thoughts that we have. One is from Aristotle, which says we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit, which means what we are saying is we are only looking at the maturity. Today, what you are at strength, you need to sustain and grow further. Areas of improvement that we have found may be developed further. And this is the latest tweet that we had on Connect on Twitter, which said a goal without a plan is just a wish. A goal without a plan is just a wish, a very powerful thought to conclude this presentation. So that is all from our side. We have closed the presentation at 4:20 and we have time for Q&As. If you want to, we will discuss and we are ready to take those questions if any. Yes.
No, I think that was a wonderful presentation, Taresh and team. Many compliments to you and to the entire team. Very well captured in a very compact presentation and completely covering the entire facets of the organization and also linking it beautifully to the HR sub functions, whether it's recruitment, whether it's L&D, whether it's engagement and CSR, etc. Thank you so much to you and to the entire team. So just one question, Taresh. While as a philosophy, we will not ask any questions while the feedback is being presented. We have to just take it as it is. Just if you can just give any one or two examples on why no strategic focus on cost consciousness, especially the margin improvement. Because I feel as a part of the leadership team, we live and die by the margins, and every second interaction is only about where we are and where we have to go. But why any reason why you feel so? Any specific example which we can focus on improving?
Yeah. So see, we the observation that we have given is not from the operations team. We have not seen the operations, how they are managing the cost in their KRA sheets or goal sheets. I'm sure it would have gone. But in the KRA sheets or whatever that we saw in the HR itself, okay, we did not find anything related to cost. And even the pillars, the 4 pillars that you talked of, Jana, on the first day, the process enhancement, the digitalization, cost, and growth. I mean, we were not seeing that coming up in all of these goal sheets. Okay, so we are saying that what HR also has to be equally conscious about the cost. It is not that the operations only has to take care, because the in an organization of BPO, HR is not a support function. HR is a line function.
Agreed.
So that is what we wanted to push, that HR also has to become cost conscious. See, that is where L&D will gear up for providing trainings related to cost optimization. I think today we are focusing on digitalization. See, cost may be coming up as an outcome. You may say that because मेरा TAT कम हो गया है, I have automated the process, the manpower is reduced, cost is reduced. But it is not through a conscious effort to reduce the cost. That's what I'm saying.
Jana, just to add to what Taresh has said, drop of water makes a ocean. Like in our interactions also with many of the teams, even touching on the cost, we did not get an favorable response on what are they doing on the cost part of it. Where one part was taken on one Six Sigma type of project of Airtel, where they had reduced the calling time and savings of say 4 or 5 lakhs per month, but we were looking at how this could have helped in capturing many more cost initiatives, because today in our interaction, even the CEO said that although my heads may be coming and informing that these could be the area of where cost can be optimized, but the idea comes from the lower people. So what we as a team felt was that if there is an conscious effort on margin improvement through each one of us, then I think we are on that strategic pillar of cost consciousness.
And Jana, just want to add one more point. When we discussed with Mr. Neeraj today in the morning, you know what? When we said that is cost a challenge, I mean, he told, of course, that cost is a challenge over here, but then the cost focus, he didn't say cost focus, he told margin improvement. Okay, so we may have to look at how do we position this cost consciousness, whether it's margin improvement or cost consciousness, whatever, that we have to see. Because in strategy, we are talking of cost and the CEO is talking of margin improvement. Though they are linked, no doubt they are linked.
Yeah, they are directly linked, but
positively. He's saying positively. He's saying positively.
Point taken. My only on a lighter note, my only apprehension is Jay should not take this very seriously. Already there are so many things that are getting cut in terms of the cost consciousness.
Exactly. Yes. So that's what he's saying positively, margin improvement.
Yeah. Noted. Thank you. It's been a wonderful presentation, Taresh and team. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other question? Jayesh is there? Jayesh, I don't know whether he's there.
Jayesh had to step away. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Anamika, you are there. Okay. So
that's why
we would like to thank Anamika, because Anamika and Indranil, I think they are the ones who were the touch points for us, for all through this assessment. And I have not put the man hours of discussion with Anamika and Indranil.
Thank you, thank you so much. Yeah, Jana, you got the point.
Yeah, that can run into many hours, we know. Yeah, Malti, you're saying something.
Actually, this entire exercise also through the officers' interaction, it was really, whatever we have done, and it's an opportunity for us to put it on our application, as well as to take it forward through your interaction and exhibit it and interact also. It was very nice, and the way they and taken input, whether it is Cyril who had drilling down to the points till he get to a satisfied answer, making sure that what we have done, it is coming out very clearly, or Madhu, who are very clearly articulated and drived out the answers what she wanted. It was absolutely awesome interaction what I have gone through, and it gave more of introspection during our regular calls. Also, I was sharing it with our team. It gives more information for us also, what are the areas we also taking it based on. Thank you so much for analyzing our areas of work, which we are doing it well, and the areas of improvement. hopefully it'll definitely help us in getting in where we wanted to. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So even during interactions, Jana, we have also shared some of the improvements that they can think of. Whether it is with Grace, Malti, we had in fact shared that also. That in IGRO digitalization, what they have done probably, in that also what we can improve further. That also we have shared with the zonal leads, Grace, and everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, Taresh. We keep telling this, reiterating this point in our internal reviews and meetings also, that these assessments, while the end report is only one smaller part of the entire process, the interactions throw up so many more opportunities if you carefully listen to what the questions are being asked and what we are doing well and what we can further take it to the next level. So absolutely in agreement with you.
Okay. So any other queries, questions?
In fact, one of the things that communication effectiveness was always this on, we got it through Gallup or we got it through GPTW, but we've actually launched a monkey survey. And we've just posted the final draft to Jess. And I want to make sure that by Monday, I have a more effective one with me. So no, that yesterday when you pointed it out, we used to do that a couple of years back, and then somewhere, we kind of got very confident that our communication was working, but that was a good reminder. So we're starting on Monday. I'm launching it. So that was a good learning for me. It's been a good one.
Just to share one feedback, Anamika, to share one feedback from the FGD that we had for new joinees, when I asked, who's the CEO? The first answer which came was Nauzer.
I'm not surprised. Okay. I'm not surprised because that's something that me and Jana are always fighting with Neeraj. Neeraj is by nature a bit reclusive, and Nauzer by nature is more aggressive. So that got, and that's one big fight that both Jana and me have. Yeah.
And that is where we told leadership branding also has to be, done within the organization very strongly.
Yeah. Important. Thank you. I think, Anamika, anything?
No, I'm good. When you share this presentation, so we can. Yeah, thank you.
I will share the presentation. Yeah.
And then Jess will share it to leadership. I'm sure Grace, Malti, me, Tony, the more affected parties will immediately start, addressing some of that. So, thank you so much. It's been a good learning. I'd say that. And for us as a rigor, some misses, yes. Sorry about that. But, it's a moving, dynamic organization. But I was happy that you were able to finally talk to Neeraj. And really looking forward to good results on this for us. But even if that doesn't happen, the idea is that we will, have a good movement ahead. So, thank you so much for doing this for us and taking so many man hours to do it.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Thank you, Taresh and the entire team.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you so
much. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.